I guess we'll get started then. Welcome everyone to the Toadily VR podcast. I'm your host, Controser, with my two co-hosts. Please introduce yourselves.
Hello, everyone. My name is Flat. I'm one of the co-hosts.
Hello, everyone. I am Zycu. Pleased to be here. Ready for a really good conversation.
Hell yeah. And we're going to be talking about some VR news, some topics. This is our very first one, so we'll give a little introductions about who we are and how we got here, and we'll get started. Flat, how about you get us rolling on how did you get into VR? What pulled you into this?
Well, probably about 6, 7 or so years ago, VRChat was kind of one of the newer games to play. And so I just kind of opened it up one day because one of my friends told me to. And it was so funny seeing like planktons and like other characters just like hang out and talk. And so just over time, I kept getting online with him onto VRChat. And it just kind of formed a group. So I was in a group called Nep Gang for a good long while.
Oh, I've
a
heard
lot
of
the
them.
times, yeah, they're actually pretty popular before they separated. But
Wait, did you
was
say
one of the-
Neck Gang?
NEP.
no,
N-E-P.
Nep Gang.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, they were one of those groups that like primarily used Neptunia avatars because Neptunia was real popular back in the day, especially for VR chat. But yeah, that was one of the big things that got me into VR was just hanging out with Nep Gang and doing a lot of events during there.
Okay. And you said you started playing when?
Probably about 2018 or 2017. I have pictures from 2018, early 2018, but I'm pretty sure I was playing before then. Just didn't take much pictures.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That was actually right around the time that I started playing as well. I started playing late 2017. I think it was November specifically. And I jumped in, and I'll be honest, the very first thing, because I didn't have VR. VR wasn't the way I jumped in immediately. I jumped in on desktop into VRChat, and I played desktop for about 400 hours before I even jumped into VR itself. I just wanted to really make sure I was willing to spend the hundreds of dollars because I got 400 hours in. And I was like, you know what? I think I can spend a few more 100 hours in VR. It'll be worth the money.
Pretty similar to me.
Yeah.
I spent a good chunk of time just in desktop first.
Yeah.
So
So
do you guys...
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good.
No, I just...
I
No, you...
was just gonna continue my story, bro. You go ahead. What do you want to say?
Okay. You guys remember those little phone VR headsets? So you like plug your phone into it and then you, like,
Oh
close it
yeah,
with
and
your
like the
phone
Google
inside of it
Cardboard.
on your head. So
I was just about to say it's cardboard.
well, yeah,
Sometimes.
cardboard was like one of them. It was like the budget solution, but Oculus had a deal with Samsung at one point. So with the Samsung phones would actually like plug into the headset and then like slide and close into it. And it's like really cool, like I don't know, like closing a door, but you're like shutting your phone onto the headset.
Yeah.
And it was like one of the Oculus's like first headsets outside of like the original Oculus. And that was actually like my in. I used to watch Steven Universe on it when I was
Fascinating.
in Qatar on my first deployment, and I would like fall asleep on this couch, and like when it was my turn to take a break on shift, I would fall asleep on this couch and just like watch Steven Universe on this VR headset. And when I got back from that deployment and I made it to a different unit, I actually met Controser, and I showed him my cool little VR headset, or at least we talked about it. And you're like, "What?" And you started telling me about the what was it called, the Vive, and how
Yeah.
I should invest in the Vive and get a Vive. Best business decision ever. And so since 2019, been playing a lot of VR, and currently at this time have over 11,500 hours logged, and mostly been
Dang.
playing games
Yeah, I
like
know.
Half-Life Alyx.
I introduced
and
him to it, and he
horror
overtook
games.
me
It's
by a
such a
landslide.
great pinnacle turning point in my life because gaming has never felt so lively.
No.
VR is just like a great escape that you could take.
Yeah, you
Oh
just reminded
yeah.
me because I totally had forgotten. My first experience with VR itself was actually in South Korea when I got deployed over there in with the military. And I went to the Seoul Tower, and in the Seoul Tower, they had this little VR exhibit. And me and another friend of mine put the headset on, and we're on this race. Basically, it was a roller coaster, and you just kind of stood there and watched it. It was a cool experience, but I was like, I feel like there's better out there. And that was back in
No.
2014, I want to say. Maybe a little
Wow.
bit later, maybe 2015. But
I don't think I had something that early. I think
yeah,
the most earliest I got into VR was like 2019, playing like the game Gorn
hmm.
on like a really bad Oculus headset.
Oh man.
Because I think my first headset was an Oculus, and then I switched over to the Vive, and the Vive is like my favorite brand of headsets.
I remember you had gotten an index at one point and actually decided to get rid of
Yeah.
your index so you can go back to a Vive headset because you didn't like the way it sounded.
If
Blew
there's
my
one thing
Yeah,
about
mind.
the Vive that I miss, it's that OLED display.
Oh, true. Yeah, that was very nice.
Mm-hmm. Like the true, like blacks are black. Like
Yeah.
you're in a dark world, it's dark.
Yeah,
But the
so
index, it's like gray.
yeah. So when I first hopped onto VRChat specifically, I was back in late 2017 and I was deployed at the time, so I was mute because I didn't want military people to know what I was doing really. And and I popped into the VRChat hub, which at that time was like this floating cathedral that had spinning platforms up above, and like a pool off to the side and stuff. I sat by a little campfire, randomly met some people there. They were all sweet. I didn't friend any of them because I didn't know how at the time. And the first thing I noticed was a giant tank was driving right towards us. And as soon as it got close to us, I could see it had pictures of He-Man on it, and it was blasting the Hey Ya music as the He-Man tank rolled away. And that was as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, so this is what VR is. That's very cool.
I, back then there were so many funny avatars just that had that.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was all memes. It was either memes or you had like rips from video games, and that was pretty
Yeah.
much it. It's crazy how much the Avatar uh, ecosystem has shifted from being that to being furries and anime characters, mostly anime
Yeah,
girls.
e-boys and e-girls.
Yeah, yeah. The occasional e-boy, but mostly e-girls and then the furries. But before it was like it was a wild west. It was the wild west of avatars. You didn't know what you were gonna run into. Like there was a time that I was in the VR chat what was it called? It was the New Year's map. This was back in 2018,
Which
2019.
one? The one with the ball drop?
Yeah, the ball drop one. But it was
That
years
thing was
ago.
Classic.
around
Oh,
back then?
it's been around for ages, dude. I was there for the New Year's ball drop, and I ran into an avatar that someone was wearing, and it was a giant wall, just a chunk of a wall, and it had Trump written on it. And on the side was a sign that said "built or paid for by Uganda" because of the Uganda knuckles. Man,
That
that
is
was
Is that
hilarious.
the
that was a
same?
time.
Is that the
Wait,
same
when
world that has the elevator that goes up to like a rooftop bar area?
I don't think that was there at the time, but I think it does now. Yeah, there's a bunch of different
Mhm.
things there, and it keeps evolving as it
yeah.
goes. They get more sponsors and stuff to put signs up. Very cool though.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
Ugandan, just like the Ugandan Knuckles meme. Hold up.
I mean, yeah, that was another in for me because I was interested in the VR chat stuff when it started, but I wasn't like, oh man, this is the best. I kind of jumped in and I was like, oh, this is kind of neat, and then I kind of left, and then I found a little anime wolf girl avatar, and I was running around in that for a while, and then I ran into Gaston's, otherwise known as the Commander of the Uganda Knuckles. He was just starting the meme out and was like, "Yo, join us, clone me." And I said, "Okay." So I cloned him. And we started running around and doing the, "Oh my goodness, me Buddha, you have no idea. Let me spit on you."
and if you ever have a run into with Gaston's, like he is actually a super down to earth
Oh
person,
my
like
god, he's
way more than
so
you would have
sweet.
expect.
The
Because
guy who
like
started
you
the
think the
chaos.
leader of you think someone who created something like that would just be like ignorant, but he's like super down the earth, super chill to talk to, great conversation.
Yeah.
You'd have to be a really charismatic guy to like gather a group of Uganda Knuckles and say, change into the Uganda Knuckles, we must go.
It's so true. And it was so sad when he finally stepped down, because the people that stepped up in his place were absolute asshats and kind of killed the community. But you know how it is.
That's how it is with most groups.
So
It's usually
true.
Always
So true,
just
yeah.
some guy who
It's
doesn't
the
understand
infection.
the how it was originally. They try and like introduce their own junk, and then it just gets worse from there.
Oh yeah. So I was just minding my business, doing that shit for a while, and then I found another Fox Girl. I don't know why I gravitated to so many of the Fox Girl avatars, but this one was covered in space effects. And I went to the Void Club, which was the only club to go to back in the day. And I was like, okay, this is neat. And I ran into Tony the Tiger. I'm telling you, the Wild West of fucking avatars back then. I ran into Tony the Tiger, who was talking to this one girl, and was like, "You need to come with us. You need to come with us. We're doing this thing. Come join us in this room." And I was like, "I wonder what's going on over there." So I ran in. They had locked the door because it was one of those private rooms. But thank goodness it was one of those private rooms where the door unlocks automatically after like 15 seconds. That was really brilliant of the map designers.
Oh, thank goodness. What did you see in there? Surely it wasn't anything
It wasn't
suspicious.
anything bad. No, as soon as I popped in, they were just filming a porno.
Oh, that's kind of how it usually goes in Void Club, right?
Yeah. I have no idea. But it was all like a joke, but they didn't expect it. So when I popped in with this little tiny character, they were like, "Oh, you're not supposed to be here. You're the pizza boy." And so
and you fulfilled the role.
I fulfilled the role. I delivered the pizza. But that's how I met Daizo, and then Daizo later adopted me as their child because I was still mute, you know. I didn't speak in this because I was deployed, and I was like, you know what?
It's the same thing with me too. Yeah, it's just when you first start out VRChat, you're really nervous, so you probably just don't talk as much. Zycu, is it the same with you? Because I know for a fact I didn't talk. I was a mute when I first started out on VRChat.
No, because when I first came into VRChat, I had a Sherpa. His name is Controser.
Oh yeah,
I
And
see.
Controser, he showed me around pretty much everywhere and introduced me to a lot of people, and pretty much instantly took me out of that like shy phase that I guess you would have if you didn't know anybody and you're just kind of lurking around trying to
No, I
figure out
Get in
like
somewhere.
I do have a really funny story for the first time that I brought him into the game, though. I'm gonna get to that in a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I jumped on with Daizo. Daizo adopted me, and then I found out this family was way too big. I'm talking like I was one of 10 kids. I had
After
uncles and
the
shit.
8th kid or the 9th kid that you realized it was too big.
I was the 10th kid, so I didn't know how big it was, but they were like, "Oh, we're gonna do a family reunion," and I was like, "Oh, that sounds interesting." Because again, I'm like, "Oh, I don't know what the fuck's going on here. I'm just gonna roll with the punches and see how it ends up." And that's what kept me going in the VR chat for so long, was I was just rolling with punches and seeing how it would go. Next thing I know, here I am in this world that's just for the family, because it was a little private instance, but there was 30 something people in there.
It also helped just around that time, probably had a lot more free time too to just hang out and see whatever was going on.
Yeah, it was that moment that I actually I met Harmony in that little world. He was the family android. Very fitting. And
the family android.
Yeah, the family android. And
like
then
the family pet.
Yeah, exactly. We also had a family pet. His name was Persona. He wore a what's the Houndoom, I think? He had a little Houndoom onesie. But it was a lot of fun, and then that's when I first started speaking, was when I talked to them at the family reunion. And then just kind of snowballed from there.
Your voice?
They were very off-put by the voice because I was female avatar, so they just called me their daughter the entire time. And then, my voice is not very daughter-like. So the very first time I spoke, they were like, "Oh, whoa, that's crazy. They spoke." Or she said she spoke, because, that's what she was going at.
You could have acted like a girl, shaking my head.
I definitely could have. That would have been really funny, but I didn't feel like balling them for the rest of that time.
I know what you mean. Whatever people like perceive me as a girl, and when I used to not speak, I would just shut up and not say a single thing.
Just let it roll.
Like, okay, so I'm gonna say something, and they're gonna say, "Hold up,
wait a minute,
why do you sound like that?"
Speaking of,
You are against what I believed of you in my head.
yeah, speaking of, the very first time I brought Zycu into VRChat, I dragged him around. This was back when I was in like the Crasher scene. Like the Crasher scene was huge, so I dragged him into the group so he could be introduced to people who I was hanging with at the time. One of them, his name was Kaneka Rim. Not a great guy anymore, but at the time we were
I know where
chill.
this is going.
Kaneka Rim was wearing a female avatar, and he and I were all in, like, the whole group was in a Discord call except for Zycu. So he and I were chatting it up, and Zycu came up and was like, "Oh, you're really pretty. Isn't she pretty? I love this avatar." And
And then what did you do?
immediately, Kaneka Rim turned to me in the Discord call and was like, "Don't you say a fucking word." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "No, no, no. I'm gonna see how long I can keep this going." So for weeks, Kaneka Rim was known as a woman within the group, just so he can string Zycu along, and then finally flip
I
out.
was completely
long?
catfished.
How long did we keep it going?
Somebody slipped, and I was like, "Wait, what? That's a guy?"
Yeah, that was absolutely mind blowing because like he was like, "There's no way
I
a guy
don't
wearing
think
a
I've
female
ever
avatar."
been catfished. I don't even know what I would say if I was catfished. Like what?
That was like
what?
before I learned that, you know, guys in VR chat typically use anime girl avatars, and it was a lesson I needed to learn. It definitely
Yeah,
was.
yeah, it,
I
it, it
mean,
was a lot of fun though.
it's the same thing nowadays. Like dudes use anime girls way more than they'd use like dudes.
Oh, it's absolutely true. And it's just because there's not enough male assets to really make a good male avatar. And a lot of
You are
guys,
very right about that.
yeah, it's really a shame. I'm surprised I was able to find the stuff I did to make the avatar look the way it does, especially with my like my Letterman and stuff. But a lot of times you don't get that lucky when you're trying to make a guy avatar. So most guys are just like, well, fuck it. If I can't do a guy avatar, I'll at least look cute and look at myself in
Exactly.
mirrors and be like, damn, that's cute.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the bigger reasons why mirror dwelling is an issue, or an issue. It's very popular nowadays.
Yeah, it's not an issue.
That's why they have like 10 of them in Black Cat.
Oh my god, yeah. I didn't even think about how many are in there. There's probably at least 4.
There's
But
probably at least one.
is he
So I got something. So
Yeah, go for it.
sorry, I don't mean to change the subject too much,
Oh
but
no, you're good.
talking about that craziest moment stuff. Um, so when I started sleeping in VR chat, I'm not sure if anyone else has like been able to successfully sleep in VR chat. I know there's
Oh,
people
I
who can do it.
have.
There's some people that can't. So when I've like first started sleeping in VR chat, like I was like a casual, like I'm tired, but I don't want to get out of the headset thing, and then I would fall asleep. But I would wake up and then be in that weird brain fog stage of like waking up in VR chat, and I would like look at my hands, and for those of you who don't know, I used to use a Fox Girl avatar, and I would look at the hands of my avatar, and it would almost feel like I was in VR and I was looking at my own hands for just like a few moments. Like it just felt surreal, like I was immersed, like some Seiyo stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else has had that experience before of just like feeling that immersed. But of course, over time, it's like
Faded, yeah.
sleeping in VR chat's like nothing. Like I fall asleep in
Oh,
VR
yeah.
chat, and sometimes I just wake up, the headset's off.
I used to sleep in VR chat lots too. It was a lot easier when you had someone to sleep with. No pun intended. But it just being there most of the time, it's just like, oh, like a nice little experience. Like you're just hanging out with someone and sleeping together. In not a
Yeah.
romantic way, of course.
Yeah, I get that entirely. I did it once, and I just couldn't. I was one of those guys. I just couldn't
Couldn't
get
fall
my
asleep?
my eyes to want to stay closed with the bright lights in my face, even when it was like night mode in worlds and stuff. It didn't really
I don't
work for me.
know.
I did sleep once, but I just never got that side of VR chat. But I do have an experience when I first started playing in VR specifically, where I was so hooked on VR. I was in the military still, and I was so hooked on the VR aspect that I played for like 9 hours straight on one of my first sessions.
Yes, that was me.
Yeah, yeah,
Second I got VR, it's a whole different experience when you can actually move your hands.
yeah,
Like when you use desktop for a while and then you start to use your hands, you don't want to leave.
yeah. So I did it for 9 hours straight. It was in the middle of the night, and then 9 hours later, it was like, oh, I got like 15 minutes, and I need to be at formation. I'm fucked. So I jumped out of my headset, threw clothes on, and rushed down to the formation. And on my way to the formation, I walked past like fences and stuff, and I was like, wait a second, this fence feels way bigger than it used to. Like my whole perspective of the world had like shifted because of being in VR for so long. It was really weird. I don't think I've ever experienced something like that.
I kind of remember a different experience with you sleeping in VR.
No.
So I recall you as someone who is, when they are very tired, will sleep anywhere in any position.
I mean, that is also true.
And when we were in Qatar, or not Qatar, Kuwait together, you didn't bring your headset on the deployment, but I did. And at one point, I guess you had like a special night with, someone that you were talking to at the time.
Yeah.
And I offered to allow you to use my headset to hang out with them on that occasion. And
You
so
stole Zycu's headset for ERP? What the?
You didn't steal it, but I was like, I invited to my room. I was like, yeah, come on over in my room. I'm gonna fall asleep because we were up super late already at that point. We're on the same shift.
We're in like 24-hour shifts and stuff.
I tell him like, yeah, I'm gonna go take a nap. My bunk's like right next to or in the middle of the play space because I have pretty much a whole room to myself because I was an NCO. And I invited Controser over, let him use my headset. I pass out. I'll probably wake up maybe like 3 or 4 hours later, and I look over, and Controser's like passed out, like head tilted forward, dead in the headset. And I'm just like, dang, I don't know how he fell sitting up like that.
Bro partied too hard. It must have been a good night, Contro. Please tell me what happened in detail.
Oh my god. Do you think I remember all of that? Probably not.
Man, I remember every night I slept with someone in VR.
Nah, I don't think
platonically.
Yeah, platonically, definitely platonically for you. But no, I don't have too many memories. When I was in VR, I was kind of jumping around a lot because I wasn't sure what I wanted out of a relationship and stuff. So there was a lot of different people that I was experimenting with and trying things out and not being serious with, and all that kind of different stuff. But that in particular, I do remember the chair. I think it was one of those like fold out plastic or fold out metal chairs.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, and
we didn't have too many commodities there.
Yeah, what, military with no commodities? That's crazy. But it's one of those things I get tired, and in the military especially, I was having a lot of problems with sleep, so I would just pass out everywhere.
Can you please remind me what part of the military you both were in?
Yeah, no, that's...
I do not remember.
I served active Army for about 6 years.
I'm still active Army for 11 years so far.
Dang. 11, that's more than 1, 2, and 3 combined.
That is absolutely right. And I think he probably, if he's keeping up the trajectory, he's probably just going to do the full 20 at the very least.
I mean, it's only 9 years left. Only 9 years of my life.
It's 9 more years of my life, just under a decade.
9 more. I have a lot of fun with it, though. It's a good thing. It's not a bad
thing. Yeah. And it's not for everybody.
As long as I keep the money coming.
Oh, of course.
If you're enjoying it, though, that's great.
Yeah, most definitely.
And like every job has its up and downs, so.
Speaking on the headsets, though, what kind of headsets do you guys currently use?
Right now, I am currently using the Vive Pro 2. I've sorely missed the Vive Pro 1. However, I will say the Vive Pro 2 is pretty okay.
Why is the Vive Pro 2 not as good as the Vive Pro 1? It's supposed to be the iteration of it, right?
So it's more so how comfortable the Vive Pro 1 felt. How bright all of the lights were. Because when I'm using the Vive Pro 2, I need to physically turn on some settings in, JSON files and config files just to get the headset to go a little brighter. and it still does not reach the brightness that the Vive Pro 1 has. Not
Oh,
only
okay.
that, it's just the Vive Pro 2 it's just not as comfortable as the Vive Pro 1. It's something with that back headrest too, because it's way more comfortable back there. So I can wear the Vive Pro 1 for hours and hours and hours, and it'd feel like nothing. Vive Pro 2, it's much less. It feels a little bit heavier too.
I mean, there might be a little bit more electronics in it, so that can definitely add to the weight. What about you, Zycu? What you currently using?
Currently rocking the Valve Index full body tracking, 3 base stations. And if anyone's wondering, no, having an extra base station does not help your tracking. If your tracking wants to work, it'll work. When it doesn't want to work, it will be sure to throw your hip across the room.
You have 3 base
regardless
stations?
of whatever you're using. Yes.
That's
Are
a
they-
great
still
idea. Why didn't I
struggles to
think about
track.
that earlier?
Aren't they base station 1s, or are they 2s?
They're the 2.0s.
Okay. Yeah,
Oh,
because
yeah.
with the
Yeah,
1s,
yeah,
you can only
yeah.
have up to 2. So I didn't know if you had like a mixture of them or not.
Oh, the 1.0s don't work at all with the Index.
Ah,
They
well,
don't?
that
Oh.
explains a lot. Because I'm also rocking the Index over here, but I am using the base station 1.0s. And
I still
Yeah, I
don't
think there's
understand
some
why you're using
critical issues with that.
1.0s though.
money. It's expensive.
Oh.
I was like,
How expensive are the 2? I think the 2s
think
are 200 or so bucks.
each,
Yeah, each. So
which is
$400
the problem.
just
That's
to
a
track
lot of
yourself.
monies.
That's true. I mean, when you're getting like the Index and the index controllers are expensive. They are not
Oh
cheap.
my god. Okay, the base stations are
About
now
3 pairs.
$150, but they're out of stock if sold separately.
I still can't believe the cable for the Index is like $60 on its own.
Oh my god, yeah.
The cable for the Vive is 90.
Oh no.
Oh.
I guess we don't have it that bad. But no, I started out with the Vive original, and then Zycu had gotten the Index, and the day that he decided to let me borrow his headset when it was the Index, there was another time he let me borrow it after that when we got back to the States, I think. It was either a headset or something else. But he let me borrow some of his gear back in the States because mine got broken. And then one of the base stations that I had up on the wall fell because I was using Velcro to hold it. And it hit the ground. Somehow, though, that thing still fucking kicks it. It's still going. I don't know how it happened.
You dropped my base station and cracked it, but that one base station that you dropped and cracked is actually the only base station that I still have from that time period that still works.
Yeah.
So
But
maybe you broke the thing that burns it out.
who knows? But for some reason, the ones that I have now are on their deathbed. Every few minutes, I'm watching my hands fly off in the distance or my head start to shift out of place, and it's like, okay, this is not great. But I'm rocking the Index controllers and the Index headset, but the controller, not so great. I love the finger tracking, but the problem that I'm running into with the controllers is that they're so fragile. Like the stick on my left one is just completely snapped off, and this is like the second time that it's happened. I don't know if I'm
On
just
your
putting too
Index?
much. Yeah, on my Index controller.
That's a very similar like issue my friend has, where his Index stick just doesn't work. And maybe I don't understand because I don't use Index controllers, but I
Yeah.
think I would rather have Index sticks than Vive trackpads.
Oh no, I
Because the
100% agree with
trackpads are
you.
horrible.
Trackpads are awful, and the fact that they didn't have a lot of buttons for those controllers, so the fact that they had to program the trackpad to also
Integrate
do the
controls
face
into it,
expressions
yes.
and hand stuff, yeah. So it's like you barely press on it, and then you do a hand gesture. You put a little extra bit of pressure, like the slightest bit, and you're moving. And it was that
It used to
shit.
be really good though.
Yeah. No, it was good for the time, for definitely. And then I switched to the Index. And I'm
But now
like,
with
this
all
is
the
so
extra-
much better. But the sticks are just so
Once they
fragile.
added all the extra like menus and buttons and stuff, like for functionality in VRChat, and they moved away from the Vive ones, the Vive ones became hell to use. I tried to go
Mhm.
back to it at one point
It's
just
very
to
true now.
reminisce, and it's difficult. Like anyone using a Index one to this day, like I feel sorry for you. That's rough.
You need to use Steam controls right now to actually correct many issues with the Vive currently, because the VRChat set controls are non-functional.
Oh my
I
goodness.
couldn't be bothered.
Yeah, and I would just give up at that point. Speaking of headsets, though, have you guys heard that VRChat has a new official VR headset?
Yes.
I'm
So
tempted to get it.
the 1 grand headset, the
Oh my goodness, yeah.
1.3 grand headset.
Yeah, the biggest problem to me is that it still uses the Steam VR stuff, so you still need to get Steam VR compatible controllers and base stations to be able to use the headset. And the price is 1,300 for the VRChat specific one. But the amount of tech that's inside that thing is incredible.
It is very
Yes.
small too. It is very small. Very light
So-
looking, at least.
Yeah.
I wrote down some specs about it. So that new headset is coming in at 107 grams, 116 FOV degree FOV, and for comparison, the index uses a 130 degree FOV. So that's just a little bit off the mark than what the index can do. But aside from that, there's also a pretty substantial jump from the Valve Index 1440 by 1600 resolution. The full screen beyond is pushing 2560 by 2560 resolution, which is huge. Like
That's
that
almost
should,
double.
if not eliminate the screen door effect entirely. Granted, the screen door effect isn't as bad as it used to be. Like if you used a Vive, you know exactly what
Oh my
I'm
god,
talking
yeah.
about.
That's why I switched to the index.
But the most important like thing for me is that it has micro OLED, which means those
Ooh.
blacks are going to be true blacks. I've read some stuff about how the big screen beyond has some issues with like sound and depending on if you use like the Halo strap it comes with.
Yeah, the built-in audio,
But-
or not the built-in, but the accessory head strap. You can always use your own headphones, though.
Yeah.
It just means that you're gonna have the weight of whatever your headphones are, and they might not support the weight of the headset.
Yeah.
But another really cool thing I like about this headset that they're releasing is that it has built-in eye tracking, which is something that I have been kind of eyeballing.
Pun
But-
intended.
No,
Probably.
for real.
Hey, I get it.
No, but for real, I think that it's really cool seeing people like look around. Like communicating in VR is like a really important aspect,
Yeah.
especially if you're in VRChat a lot. And the more avenues you have of body language to communicate with, just makes it that much better. And so, like if
Yeah.
someone says something to you and you like dart your eyes at them, or they dart your eyes at you, and you're just like, oh, they're looking at me. You know that's a huge like social aspect that you kind of lose without eye tracking.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's something that I really would like to do, being able to squint at people or wink at them or something. I don't
No,
know.
for sure.
Face
I think it'd be
tracking
really
is
cool.
so cool.
I-
That is something
yeah.
I so want badly.
I've seen a lot of
'Cause
videos
there
of
is
the face
so many
tracking that people
opportunities.
have done, and the amount of work
Yeah.
on the models is quite a bit. But the amount of like payout that you get for it is incredible. I've seen some really well done face tracking models in VRChat. But the
It
only
adds a
downside
lot
is
more
the cost of the face tracking module, because it's still new technology.
But 1,269 is a pretty steep price for the average consumer.
No, yeah, that's the one thing
that's
though.
over like the Index and other headsets too.
Well, the
It's
index is only
just the
500
headset
for the
you're getting.
headset,
Yeah.
so it's
But at the same
almost
time,
three
it's like-
times as much.
I think it is more modern, and who knows when we're going to get like a real Index too. And
Oh my god, I'm still
that would
waiting
look
for
like.
the code Deckard to get at least announced or shown
I
off.
hear talk about it. I hear
I
talk
hear
about
talk
it, all
about
the
it
time.
every year, man. I've been waiting for
But my
5
fear
years
with
for
that
this
is
thing.
that it's going to be inside out tracking, and the only like real. I think the only thing that would make something like that good is if it supports inside out tracking, so you can take it with you anywhere, and it also has dedicated outside in tracking with base stations. Like that's the only reason I would buy an inside out tracking headset is if
Is
it
if you could
also
use
has
both.
the ability to use my base stations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I'd
and
like
being
to put
able
my
to
hands
tether it.
behind my head.
no,
Because-
absolutely.
Like, because people say like people say like you can get a Quest and you can tether it. I'm sorry, but the Quest tethering system is a nightmare to deal with, especially when you're having like issues troubleshooting it. Because I bought my mother a Quest 3 and she uses it pretty regularly for VRChat and Horizons, but she's always coming to me for help to try to figure out Airlink issues or the actual cable that I bought for it, like
Yeah.
issues communicating with Steam. And I'm sorry, but there is definitely a market for a solution to that problem, and I think that Valve will probably be the first to solve it if they do it Index.to and have both inside out and tethered
And outside in, yeah.
connections. Yeah.
No, that's what I'm hoping for. Being able to just completely tether off the computer would be great. Hopefully the battery life would be good on it. Because I've seen a lot of like the Quest and it's like, oh, it's got 2 hours of battery. I'm like, bro, I don't play VRChat for 2 hours straight. I play
What
VRChat
the
for
heck
like
is
4 hours
tethering
straight at
again?
least. Tethering is when you have a cable that goes from the headset to the PC.
Oh,
So,
it's like a
your
Quest link.
Yeah, it's like the Questlink cable is a tether cable because it takes your headset and it ties it to the computer. The one it usually comes with is very, very short, which is a big shame. But it's kind of like how our PC VR headsets have the cable that connect it. That's a tether.
Yeah, no one box.
I forget where the word comes from. The first thing that comes to my mind is when you tether someone to a boat for like spelunking under the sea and stuff. But that might
I
not
was
be
thinking
where it
about the
came from.
tetherball game.
Oh, that also could be. I'm sure that came first for sure.
I
But
think
No,
it's
I
like
think
a
both came first.
synonym of the word leash. It's like you're kind of like stuck to something.
yeah. But I'm really happy to see headsets like the big screen beyond getting eye tracking, just for the fact that we don't have to worry about companies like Meta when it comes to big screen beyond taking the data of the eye tracking and selling it to advertisers and things like that. My biggest
But that's their favorite meal. What do you
I know
mean?
it's a favorite
They
thing
need
to
to eat your
do,
data.
but
They
that's
need
why
to have your data.
their headsets are so cheap, is because they can sell all the data they get
So
from
they
it.
can, yeah, it's like one of those lost leaders where they do it just to get something out of you.
Yeah, and I'm not knocking that. I'm actually really happy that they are in the market doing this kind of stuff and pushing the agenda forward, because even if it is really shitty practices of selling data, it is making huge advances in what we love. So it's kind of a you take a loss for a win kind of a situation. But the eye tracking being done by companies that are not major companies like Big Screen, or I've even seen ones made for headsets like the Vive headsets that are made by the community that are open source. 100% down. I'm 100% down for technology like that. We need more open source VR tech. Absolutely. But something to help you picture this, because I know you were talking about you weren't sure about the weight flat. I just looked up the weight
Yeah.
of your headset. The headset you're currently wearing is about 830 grams.
Oh dang, I don't feel it, brother.
No, yeah, but
Maybe it's
the
because I'm
Yeah, the
built
big
different,
screen.
but I don't feel it.
but the big
The big
screen
screen
is
is like
just over
a
100.
third.
No, it's almost an
You
8.
said
Oh,
third.
that is insane. Don't
Oh
you
my
think
god.
it'd be like really hot on your face though?
No,
Because the
because
tech is so close to your face.
the thing
It's
is that the
optimized.
tech of that is done in the PC. The only thing that you're wearing with the big screen is a display and the eye tracking. That's it. That's all it is.
Oh,
That and a microphone.
why don't they usually do that then? That sounds like so much more efficient.
That's what I'm saying, and that's why some people are having a hard time with the price, is because it doesn't have all the bells and whistles that other headsets do. But
Wait, I just thought about that too.
I honestly feel
Like that
like
much money?
yeah, but the displays are really high quality. We're talking like
Oh, I
high-end
see.
TV quality displays.
So
Because
it's more that display where that price is coming from then,
yeah,
huh?
absolutely, because it's that micro OLED. It's got the super tiny LEDs that are also OLEDs, which have the deep blacks. So you're dipping into some of the newest display technology that's currently out there, which is like those big giant 4K, 8K TVs. Those are using micro OLEDs.
I can promise you right now, if I get that new big screen beyond, I will probably be sleeping in VR way more often than I have in the past.
Oh,
And
The VRChat sleeper has logged
the
on.
VRChat sleeper has logged on his 11,000 hours. Nah, this is baby numbers. They're about to go up.
But
Yeah,
yeah, you can
I
definitely
don't sleep that much in VRChat anymore.
Yeah, maybe if I become spontaneously rich one day, I'll just go straight to
Yeah,
big
yeah, yeah,
screen.
yeah.
But
I can
at
definitely
the
tell you
current
that
moment, I'm on the wait.
my calendar will definitely be marked because it's September, early September, mid September, somewhere in September this year that we'll have it.
Oh yeah, no, it says
So
estimated delivery November is what I'm seeing on the website. But
you can start your pre-orders now, and it
oh yeah, yeah,
releases in September. So, or at least
okay,
that's how I understand it. I'm sure somebody will let me know if I got it wrong, but that's what I read.
okay. I mean that might be possible. Yeah, I'm just saying that the official release is in November, so it might be that early backers get it a little bit earlier. But I know that people like Thrill Seekers because I've seen some of his content. He already uses it, but he's got good ties with them, so it makes sense. Uh, other things, speaking of calendars, other things that I wanted to talk about was actually the event calendars that VRChat's finally doing. How long did it take them to get this stuff done? Man,
Yeah, Discord did it like several years back.
yeah,
Shaking
for
my
sure.
head.
And I mean, it's good to see that they're finally doing it. I've played with it a little bit. I actually just recently ran into an issue today because I was trying to set up our calendar for us. I made 10 events, and the moment tried to make the 11th event, it crashed. It just kept saying fail, fail, fail. So I was like, well, great, that's awesome. So I was like, maybe there's a limit of 10. So I started deleting some of the events, and then I tried to add in more, and it was like fail, fail, fail. I'm like, oh, well, maybe there's a
It's
hard
one of
limit on
those
how many you
things
can
where
make per
you are the beta
time.
tester.
I am the beta
You are the
tester.
beta
I've done the
tester.
beta testing. Please give me the monies. But no, it's been pretty good. I just wish there was like more integration because they say you can take the stuff from VRChat and push it to calendars outside of VRChat. So if you want to take like an event on VRChat and go, oh, I want this on my Google Calendar, so I don't forget, you can do that. But I would love to see the opposite come true, where you can take events from other calendars and put them into VRChat. I think that'd be super great because we
I'll
use
say
the
That
Discord
would make it
calendar.
so easy for Discord, like moving Discord stuff into VRChat.
Yeah, I think if they made an integration like that, that would make the service a million times better because a lot of people already have Discord groups for their VRChat groups and are already using that service, and now they're like, oh, here's this new thing. What's up, Zyku?
First thing, Discord needs to catch up to the times and add a calendar as well because all their group events and stuff that they do, like guild events, like you need to have a calendar to organize all that. So that's why it's a good thing that VR chat's adding it because it's a very much needed feature to keep groups organized. And it solves a problem that I personally have where I'm getting on Friday night and I don't know what to do. And, it's kind of like guesswork joining on people and seeing like what's going on when you jump into different worlds. I had no idea I was joining a
That's
party
true.
with like 40 something people in it that are all there to drink. You know what I mean? I that might not be the flavor I'm looking for that evening. And so like seeing everything laid out on a calendar and being able to explore like what's going on before you even jump into a group event is just a phenomenal idea. So whoever came up with that, just like good job on that guy.
Oh
They
yeah,
have been slowly paving the way for this because they introduced groups like what, like maybe a year or so ago, like
it
groups in
was probably just
VRChat you
over
could
a year.
create.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they introduced that and they were slowly adding on to it with the stuff that you could do, like introducing announcements and stuff. And so now they're adding even more onto the groups to kind of centralize communications, I guess, more onto VRChat as opposed to across Discord or other
Yeah, they're trying to pull people
communication
into their
platforms.
ecosystem, which totally fair, absolutely understandable. It's good to have that kind of centralization, so people who in VR chat don't have to
Yeah.
leave VR chat to go into VR chat to do things. And I'm really glad the developers are finally. I mean, this is a personal opinion I've had. I'm really glad the developers are finally getting people who are competent in what they're doing. Not to saying the original developers weren't competent, but they were just way too small of a team to really dig deep and really make good stuff for the system.
Yeah, you can really feel that there's more thought going into the updates these days. And I think that's because of that, we're seeing a lot more community feedback response.
Yeah.
And, like when they introduced EAC, this is a big problem for people because they removed mods like Mirror and stuff. But they went ahead and added those features that people were asking for, and that's really good that the developer team is actually responsive to the community. Because if not, then it would fizzle out, and another
Yeah.
platform like CVR would get more popularity. But VRChat is king in this space, and I think that as long as they keep listening to us, they'll maintain that.
No, for sure. And we've definitely, you and I both, who've been in quite a long time, because I'm hitting about 5,000, maybe 6,000 hours, because I had some hours that weren't logged because I started playing without logging it
In
through
VR,
Steam.
god dang.
Yeah, not in VR specifically, but VRChat. Nowhere near as many as Zycu here, but
Yeah, I'm like half that for VRChat.
yeah. I mean, nowhere near my friend either. My friend Jinto has got well over 20,000 at this point in just
He's
VRChat
got
alone.
30 or 40K at this point.
He's probably close
Logs
to
into
30.
VRChat, logs off, sleeps. Logs
Logs
back into
logs
VRChat.
out works. He sleeps in VR.
Oh yeah, you're so true.
But
Can he
he
keep his controllers charged?
oh my goodness, I have no idea. He must be tethered almost the entire time.
He lives in the system.
He
What
is
the?
part of the system. That's how VRChat keeps going. They just run off of Jinto's brain. He keeps it powered.
So true.
But no, I've got a lot of hours in the game, but nowhere near as many as some people. But the amount of time that I've spent in this game, I've come to notice like the ever-growing shift of like the way the developers look at it. Because it started out super ambitious. They really loved the people. They really loved the communities. They were growing, and then there was a period of time where they were just kind of taking themselves too seriously, if that makes any sense, and saying, "Oh, we're the
'Cause
best.
they
We're
saw
on
how
top of the
successful they
world."
were.
Yeah, and it happens to a lot of people, and I'm not knocking that at all. But then they did some things, which we'll definitely talk in another podcast about. But they did some things that made the community very upset, and then that's when they went, "Oh, we need to switch around and change this up." And
They bounced back from it though.
this new direction they've taken has been leaps and bounds better than they even were when they first started. So very impressed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, I spend a lot of my free time in VR when I can, and I usually take time and spend it in like comfortable worlds. Like you're talking about sleeping, and I think it's a good opportunity to talk a little bit about this world that I like to sleep in. I sometimes bring my friends there. It's called Iroa's house. It's in Korean, so if you search Iroa, you're not gonna find it. But there's a lot of like really chill areas and stuff in there to kind of settle down and get comfortable and fall asleep, or party to like a video player, and of course mirrors for being able to see a wider range of the room, or
And
Mirror
yourself,
dwelling.
thank God.
yes, but I'm not sure if you guys care too much about like the aesthetics of world like I do, but when a world, like a comfy chilling world, has just a lot of spots and nooks and crannies of like comfortable areas with like couches and sofas and just furniture in general, like I really enjoy that. So if anyone ever has the opportunity, like check out Iroa's house. I don't know if Khan can link that to this,
I'll put it in
wherever he puts it.
Yeah, if it's gonna be on like the podcast, I've not used the podcast systems too much, so I'll have to figure out where I can put links for those. But on the YouTube video, I'll definitely put it in the description, and then we can throw it into the Cool World channel on our Discord. Speaking of, if
Kind of
you
curious.
aren't part of our community, you can join us very easily over at discord.gg/TVR. Totally VR, TVR.
Yeah. Also,
Plug.
The plug.
it's funny that you mention a world that you like for its atmosphere, because there's this world that I wish I could set as my home world, but it actually is a little too big, and it takes a little bit too long to get to my favorite spot in it. It's called Liminal Safari. It is a PC only world, but it is kind of a collection of liminal spaces. So it has like a backroom style area. It has like, like a car park area, like a business office, like late at night. But there's this one section in it, and something about me is I love pools. I love rooms with pools. I love water. I love all that stuff.
Oh my goodness!
So
you
there
have
is
no idea.
there's a pool room in Liminal Safari. If you kind of like, sneak your way around the back rooms area that you start in, it leads to this gorgeous pool room, and it has an even underwater pool area that the atmosphere in it, the sound in it, the like everything about it is
Oh, the echoing and
relaxing to
stuff.
me. Yes,
Yeah, I was about to say,
I
is
can
it one of those
sleep
with
in
the
that
reverb?
world. Yes, it has
Oh.
everything. I can sleep in that world easily, no shot. Like it is that comfortable for me to be around a world like that. And it's sad because I can't really find worlds pretty similar to it. So it's kind of one of those things where it's really old and the person who made it hasn't really, made
Touched
anything
it,
like
and
it
yeah.
again or yeah, added on to it really. But it's definitely one of my favorite worlds.
Going back to the plug of the
What about
Discord,
you?
we got some people in our community actually sitting here in the chat of our call, which if you want to come join the audience as well, you're more than welcome to at discord.gg/TVR. Here's another plug there. But
This podcast was recorded in front of a live
this
audience.
podcast is recorded in front of a live audience, and you could be a part of that audience every other Sunday. Every other
This
Sunday,
podcast is
crazy.
recorded in the middle of a live audience.
But we have people who are chatting up in there, and we might in the future drag some people up if they have ideas about topics they want to talk about or inputs on topics that we're talking about. But Harmony here was asking Flat, what does it mean for a space to be liminal?
Oh, you're asking me that, brother? I don't know. To me, honestly,
Like
I am
fancy.
not really big in liminal stuff.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
um,
But
it's
it does
like
like
kind of a space in between spaces, like an area that is
you're
it
not meant to be.
feels off. Yeah, like an area you're not meant to be. See, I'm not really too into like liminal spaces like the back rooms. The only real thing I am crazy into that is
God.
liminal is the pool rooms.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. There's actually two worlds I wanted to bring up. One, you were talking about aesthetics, Zyku, and how much you love aesthetics in worlds. That is 100% the same for me. If I go to a world and it's just a chill world, that's whatever. But if I go to a chill world and it's got a whole ass theme to it, and it hits that theme perfectly, that's where I want to be. And one of those worlds is called @cart. It's the symbol that you would see if you're like tagging someone on Discord, and then cart with a K. And that world is so cool because it feels like a legit business that you're walking into, where you get to go karting, and it's got like a little track on there that it keeps track of your times and everyone else in the world's times, so you can race each other, try to get the best times. And it's got the collision if you run into each other, so you can like slam each other into walls and try to mess each other up. We
Just
had
want to add,
so
I
much
smoked
fun.
all of them at cart.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
flat was the one who came out on top on the end, but I was very close.
Yeah.
But that world is a lot of fun. We had a ton of great times there, and the feel of being in that world just feels like you're IRL at one of those go-kart tracks at a business. Never felt
Yeah.
anything like that before. But the other world I would love to plug, because I just love the way it fits. We recently found it. It was called Chillin' Cards. It's a very relaxing little area. You got like the pool table like you would in every other chill world, but there's a really, really well done Uno in that world where you can like set how many players you want and then have everyone join the match, and then it spawns you in front of podiums. The problem that I've run into a lot with these Uno maps is that they expect you to physically interact with the cards, like pick them up and throw them, or pick them up and carry them over to the middle of the room.
Yeah.
And
It
it
slows down the
works, but it
gameplay.
slows down the game a lot. Whereas this one, it just gives you a little UI of the cards that you have in front of you, and then you can click them with your pointer. So it works super well for desktop. It works super well for VR. It's just a really well designed map for all kinds of players, and it's quest compatible. You can't go wrong with that.
And it's surprisingly fast. It has like its Uno little selection. You can put a lot of people into it, a lot more than I thought.
Yeah, it's up to 10 people, I think. Which
Yeah, that or 12.
it's 10 to 12 players, yeah. And with the people who aren't playing, there's a whole world to explore. So it's not like you're stuck just watching people do stuff. You can go hang out in the kitchen. You can run over, play some pool. You can go upstairs and draw. There's tons of things there. So, really well designed map. Really good because, our community is not the most massive, but we also have quite a lot of people that come to events a lot. I mean, we've had people peak amounts of like 25 at a time in one instance, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
having
true.
having worlds that accommodate larger groups, but also have games in them that accommodate the larger groups is something we always keep our eyes out for. And that one is definitely a great one. But I did want to finish off this podcast since we're coming close to an hour and I don't want to run too long, giving out an idea of a game that we think everyone should play. Doesn't have to be VR, just a game that we love. So I'll start.
Ooh, I got one.
Okay, I'll start with
I got one. All right, so Mage Arena. All right, this is a cool little indie game that's kind of starting out. It's very young. It's a very cheap game to get. It's like $3 on the
I want to play
Steam
that game so
Marketplace USD.
badly. It looks so
It
fun.
You should want to play it so badly. It is very fun. Me, a friend, and two friends of mine hopped in there and were pretty much playing it for like 3 or 4 hours straight. Granted, there's not a whole lot of meat to it yet, but the concept is it's a mages versus sorcerers. It's a 4v4 game modes, and essentially you have a capture the flag game mode, which is where you have to jump to like the other side of a map. Which, by the way, every game the map's like broken down into like segments and it gets shuffled, so you don't know where the castle is going to be. Your enemy castle is going to be every game.
That's really cool.
And you have to navigate those little stuff. You have to navigate those tiles to the other side of the map, and you can capture some of those tiles as well to give yourself more respawn points. But all the while, the way that you fight the other players is by casting spells. And the only way that you cast spells is by saying the spell. You have a little book that you spawn with, and you have to flip to the page of the spell you want to use. So like fireball. And in order to cast a fireball, you literally have to say fireball. And so you have this scenario where you have 8 people jumping around in like the same space, all yelling fireball, fireball, magic missile, freeze. And you're just trying to like fight each other and defeat each other and take each other's flag. There's another game mode where it's like death match, but you only get like one little like space to fight in, and it's just pure chaos.
Dang.
You can't really do much in there because of how tight. If you have a full lobby, then it's going to be impossible to really enjoy it.
Hopefully they open that up.
My experience. Yeah, I think there's a lot of room for improvement in that game, and if you haven't tried out Mage Arena, I highly recommend you pick it up. Again, it's only $3 on Steam. Just try it out. You won't be disappointed. Bring a friend.
My turn.
Yeah.
So, all right. One of my games that I select my personality from for the month is Library of Ruina. It is a card battling game with a very dark and gritty story.
Ooh.
The story behind it is very good, and it's a Korean game, but the biggest part about it is just how well its story paces itself and goes throughout it. But not only that, it is so difficult. So during the start of it, it's real nice and easy. It kind of holds your hand a lot, and then it decides to literally turn the skill curve goes completely vertical after you hit a point.
Oh.
And I'm telling you, if you take the time to learn it and keep going through how challenging it is so fun. I am telling you, it is amazing.
I do enjoy...
But that's my game.
I do enjoy good card games, because I know there's like Ring of Pain. That was one that I played more recently. That was pretty good. So I'll definitely have... Yeah, Ring of Pain. This is not my recommendation, but I'll talk about it a little bit. But basically, Ring of Pain is a procedurally generated card battling game where you run around this map. It's got like a circle. It's a ring of different enemies, treasures, upgrades, potions, and stuff like that. And you have to navigate through that ring to get to the exit to move on to the next stage. And at the very end, you fight a boss based on how much gear you get, what gear you find, what upgrades you do. Because some will be like, oh, you can upgrade your strength by 2, but it will knock down your health by 1. And so you're going through this and trying to survive and get to the end and beat the final boss. And every time it's different, so it's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. I see. A niche roguelike card battler? Imagine my surprise.
I know, right? It does happen a lot, but this one stuck with me for some reason. But the game that I want to talk about, which I know if you have a friend who's played this game, I 100% believe they've probably mentioned it to you before, because it's just that impactful. But it really changed my view on life as a whole. But it's called Outer Wilds. This is...
Oh, yes.
Yeah. It's not Outer what was the other one? Outer Worlds. It's not Outer Worlds. Outer Wilds. But it's a
I'm thing with a funny ad.
yeah, funny yeah. But it's this really small indie game where you've got this small pocket universe with like I think 5 or 6 different planets and then the sun. And you start out as this Nomai, which is an alien species, and your goal no, you not a Nomai, my bad. A Harthian. You start as a Harthian. I'm gonna sound like an idiot to the whole world. You start as a Harthian, and your goal is to explore the cosmos, learn about the cosmos, and especially learn about this alien species known as the Nomai, which lived in your solar system before your species evolved out of the waters. But all of them have vanished. They just all died randomly, and we don't know why. But you were the first of 2 people, you and one other guy, worked together and actually developed the technology to read what the Nomai have written. So you get to translate everything that's all over the map, and it's really, really well designed. I won't say much else because that is one of the best games to play without any knowledge, because it'll absolutely rock your world.
You tell me all the time to play it, and that I'm not telling you, and that you're not telling me anything about it.
Oh no, I won't. I absolutely won't tell you. Like the very basic premise that you learn that in like the first 2 minutes, but I'm not gonna say anything else about the game because it's one of those games that once you experience it, it really changes everything. And the reason I say don't look up anything about it, don't watch people play it unless you just absolutely can't, and just pick it up yourself and try it, is because the game is about knowledge. It's not one of those games where, oh, I got an upgrade to my jump and now I can jump higher and reach new places. You can beat the game right at the start of the game within 20 minutes if you know everything. But you don't know anything, so you're going around to learn about it. And once you know, you know. You can't do anything else.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you
There's
know.
co-op mod support, so bring a friend for one heck of an adventure.
If you really are into the VR community like we are, there's also a VR mod support. So you can play it in VR. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, Harmony, to answer your question, that is exactly the picture that you sent. That was based on Outer Wilds. There was a map that we went to in VRChat that was themed on Outer Wilds. So
we are crossing 5 minutes over an hour.
yeah,
Just
so
wanna make sure
we'll
you're
just. I mean, we got through our recommendations, so I'll just close this out now. I really appreciate all of our live studio audience who decided to come join us for this podcast adventure, and all the people who out there are listening or watching as we're going through our talks. We will be doing another episode next 2 Sundays from now, and then I'm going to try, we'll see how it goes, this is my first one, so I'm going to try and upload them to podcast sites and to YouTube the following Friday after Sundays, so you'll be able to view them there. If you want to come join us and hang out with us in our community, we would love to have you. It's discord.gg/tvr, or if you want to join our VRChat community, it's TVR.2006. Totally VR. You can find us in both those locations.
Heck yeah.
We'd love to have you, and we'd love to hear from you, so please give us your feedback. Thank you, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.
Goodbye, everyone.
Dang, no bye, Zycu? I see how it is.
Yeah, I know.
Goodbye, everybody. Sorry.
There you go, there you go.
I was clearly setting everyone else up for you.
Damn. All right, well, you guys have a good one.
All of you have a fantastic day.
Yeah.